Are you ready for down-to-earth reporting and brutal honesty? The Joe Rossano Show is next.
I'm a mover and a shaker, and I'm everything you're not. I'm the winner, you're the loser, and I'll take you for all you got.
The police coming straight from the underground. A young got it bad cause I'm brown. And not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority.
Oh, sorry folks. Welcome to the Joe Rossano Show. Hi, I am Joe Rossano, where our mission is to lay out the issues in a down-to-earth fashion using brutal honesty. So as of right now and forevermore, stop watching fake news, stop reading Facebook posts, and strictly get all of your information going forward right here on the Joe Rossano Show. To the outset segment. It's no mystery that the public's relationship with law enforcement, particularly in the African American community, is at an all-time low. The outset believes that there is a stark disconnect between many rank-and-file officers and the public, and reveal that scrutiny since the 2014 fatal shooting of Michael Brown has prompted many officers to be less aggressive in day-to-day policing. There are many officers who now ignore inner-city crime, which in most cases only hurts African Americans. I'm going to do an endorsement, and then yours truly will become a pseudo police officer, as I will describe what I would do if I were a cop in the raw and brutal segment. Don't go away. Looking for a great haircut like mine? Then get Buntzed. Check out Brian Bunce Barbers, the official stylist of the Joe Rossano Show, with locations in Perry Hall next to Outback Steakhouse, or in Bel Air next to Buffalo Wild Wings. Your small town feel with a big town reputation. Brian Bunce Barbers is proud to be recognized as one of the top salons in Baltimore by Baltimore Magazine. To schedule an appointment, give them a call in Perry Hall at 410-248-0370 or in Bel Air at 410-569-4222. You can also check them out on the web at brianbunce.com. Tell them Joe sent you. Welcome to the raw and brutal segment. My dear friends and fellow Americans, there is no way I could be a police officer for one damn day. While investigating this story, I talked to police officers, talked to folks who hate police officers. So I decided to pretend I was a police officer. So I had a friend of mine use one of those police scanner apps and let me know when the police were called to a scene. And as they say, when you look for trouble, you are sure to find it. Now, when I found this trouble and thought to myself, what would I do if I were a police officer in this case? Pretty much scared me to death. This is what happened if I were a cop. You know that belt cops wear that has a gun, taser, can of pepper spray, baton, etc.? The one thing I said to myself after my first shift as a police officer is I would show back up at the precinct buck naked. I would have no bullets because I would have shot everyone. I would have had no pepper spray because I would have sprayed everyone who pissed me off. Wouldn't have a baton because I would have shoved it up someone's ass. I wouldn't have socks on because when I was out of bullets, pepper spray, and wouldn't dare pull my baton out of someone's ass, I used my socks to strangle the rest of the suspects. The one thing I learned about being a pseudo police officer is that freaking job is annoying. When was the last time you or anyone you know called the police and said, hey man, I'm having a heck of a kick-ass party and there's a lot of hot women everywhere? Never. People call the police when they get robbed, stabbed, or beaten up by their boyfriend. So when the police officer is riding to a scene, he or she already knows that whomever he or she has to deal with is some bad element. Now an officer has to consider, is this bad element going to try to stab me, shoot me, hit me in the face with a beer bottle? No wonder why these guys show up ready to do battle, because in most cases, they're walking into one. Now, members of the African American community, draw your attention. Do you really think that police officers take it easy on us white folks? Do you think we get pulled over and the officer says, oh my God, Mr. White, I'm sorry I pulled you over. I had no idea you were white. I don't need to see your license and registration. By all means, go ahead, and if you're late for work, go ahead and speed. I'll radio ahead and tell the other officers that a white is passing by and not to pull him over because he's late for work. Not the case. I will do an endorsement, and then we'll be right back for the summary segment. some of your mail, and Rossano's Rant of the Week. Stick around. Looney's Pub, Maryland, and Joe Rossano's undisputed favorite hangout in Bel Air, Canton, College Park, and Maple Lawn. To find a location nearest you, check them out on the web at www.looneyspubmd.com. Welcome to the summary segment. Folks, each and every week I say time after time after time the words brutally honest, brutally honest, brutally honest. So I owe it to you to be brutally honest. So let's start here. Folks, I cannot in good faith say that every time I had a run-in with an officer that it was pleasant. Okay, that's just not true. Okay, there are some officers, and I'm using the word some, that are a little on the arrogant side sometimes. And they give me the same hard time that they give most of you. Okay, look, police officers are disliked in most cases for various reasons. Look, nobody likes to get a ticket. Nobody likes to get locked up. Nobody wants to pour their beer out because you can't have an open container on the beach. And generally, it's police officers who tell you can't do all that stuff. However, one thing I've learned in life is this. I'll tell you what, if somebody breaks in my house, or somebody has a gun and wants to kill me, or a knife and wants to stab me, or broke into my car, magically, everybody seems to love the police then. They can't wait to see those police lights when they're in trouble. And the thing I learned as a pseudo police officer, okay, when I pretended to be a cop, which was kind of fun. Actually, I didn't pretend to be a cop. I just observed what officers and suspects and kind of how they interacted. And here's what I learned. Not every case, but 99% of the cases I went and saw 4 encounters, okay? So more than 3 out of 4 times. The officers were very calm. They really calmer than I would have been. The officers gave those suspects, in most cases, the opportunity not to get arrested. They would say things like, hey, look, she's complaining there's an issue. Sir, you can't stay here. Do you got somewhere else you can go? Do you got a ride? Do you got a place you could go, etc.? I wouldn't have. I said, man, get out of here before I hit you with this freaking baton. Or I'll smash your head with a flashlight, which is exactly what I would have done. After I gave the guy 4 opportunities to walk away. And that seems to be the thing that I notice out there when there are encounters between police and the public. Cops in most cases, police officers in most cases, they don't want to arrest you. They really don't. I got friends that are cops. They tell me this. They don't feel like locking people up. They will always, in most cases, give you the benefit of leaving, of walking away, pouring your beer out, whatever the case may be, slowing it down, here's a warning, blah, blah, and etc. And it never fails. Somebody wants to argue with the police until they get locked up. And it's very, very important that I let everyone know that when I get pulled over, okay, the officer doesn't come up to my window and say, oh my God, you're Joe White Rossano. No need for your ID, sir. It's just not the case. Here is exactly what happens. I can play it for you. Officer walks up to my window. License registration. I got both hands on the wheel. Okay. License registration, please, sir. Got my license and registration in my hand. Absolutely, officer. Here you go, sir. How you doing tonight? Yeah. You know why I pulled you over this evening, sir? Sir, perhaps I was exceeding the speed limit. I apologize. I must have not saw the posted speed limit sign. That was my fault. I do apologize. All right, sit tight. I'll be right back. He comes back 5 minutes later. Okay, sir, going to give you a warning. Going to ask you to take it slow for the rest of the evening as you're going down the street, and you have yourself a good night. You too, officer. Wow. I was polite, and so was he or she. It's just that easy. I am telling you right now, if you are polite to the officers, they will be polite to you 99% of the time. Because I got to tell you, that job, from my perspective, looks annoying. I mean, are you a server or a bartender or anyone who deals with the public? I mean, how often when somebody's yelling in your face about they don't like their drink or their food is overcooked or this is burnt, how many times do you wish you were a cop and you just lock them up? Or somebody speeding down the road like a maniac, how many times do you wish, right then and there, man, I wished I was a cop? I say that 10 times a day. Man, I wished I was a cop. Slam on those cherries and go get the person. So again, at the end of the day, I got to admit, I am pro law enforcement because I truly understand what a difficult job it is. And I always take into consideration what would I do if I really needed a police officer. And they never let me down yet. So, love the police. Try that one. To your mail. Dear Joe, did I sense some jealousy in the episode last week about the MILF hunters? Perhaps you wish you were still young enough to be a MILF hunter. Debbie, Bel Air, Maryland. That's the only mail I'm going to read on this episode because it's probably going to take me right into my rant here. Debbie, you are half right. Yeah, wish I was still young enough to be a MILF hunter. Where you are wrong is a jealousy part. Just not the case. Because I will tell you this. You get 10 25-year-old guys. Make it 9 25-year-old guys and me. So there's 10 of us. Send me and those 9 25-year-olds out to the bars for the weekend. And I'll tell you what. When it comes to who can get more phone numbers on their cell phone, guarantee I'm in the top 3. That you can believe. Jealous? No. Do I wish I was still young as those fellas? Sometimes. Joe Rossano's rant of the week. Football. Of course it's football. Why wouldn't it be? So I hope everyone got that out of their system now so they can go back and watch football next week. You know, folks, I get it. It's fun. You get to drink and tailgate and eat and scream. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun to me. I get it. However, let me praise everyone for this. Power of the people. Now, they knelt for the prayer, but they didn't kneel for that anthem now, did they? Ah, exactly. They all stood up for that one. They didn't want to lose any more money or have any more empty seats, so they all stood up, didn't they? I mean, I would have, unless I wanted to go broke. But again, at least this kneeling thing, I think, brought attention to the other things as far as, again, you know, the domestic violence and the cruelty to animals, etc. At least, if nothing else, I hope the kneeling thing brought that to everyone's attention, and at least now that's on everyone's radar. Otherwise, enjoy the games, because I know that you're not going to boycott football for another 15 minutes. So I'm going to let you slide on that one. Rants, raves, questions, please email me at joe@joerossano.com. That's joe@JoeRossano, on Facebook.com/Joe Rossano, and on Twitter at Real Joe Rossano. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you got any questions, really, joe@joerossano.com. That is joe@joerossano.com. I love getting your email. Only read one this week because that one kind of irritated me a little bit. We are down to earth, brutally honest. For our producers, Carol Brown, Tom Davis, Sienna Rossano, we'll see you next time. God bless you, and thank you.
I'm a mover and a shaker.